From it's coming home to it's nearly finished. Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to FRL. We are here, of course, for F1 action. It is Season 12, Round 22 of the Championship as we take in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix from the Yas Marina circuit. My name is James Hay, going to be taking you through the stream for the final time this season, and joining me in the comment box, it is Mr. ILR Bunty. Bunty, how are you doing?
Very well, after a very special victory from England. Oh, I mean, what can I say? My voice is probably not going to be gonna die halfway through the stream, but it's all worth it at the end of the day.
It is all worth it at the end of the day, and I hate to rub it in anybody's face, i.e. T-Hawk. I'm very sorry. I'm really sorry about that introduction. But that's what you get when you come to love football like we do, of course, here. And we're into the quarterfinals facing either Sweden or Ukraine, which is up in half an hour's time. But the Drivers' Championship is as follows. Jensen, of course, leading the championship on 408 points. He's wrapped up the championship ages ago. Messina has also wrapped up second in the championship, 236 points. Now, the interesting battle is between the guys for third. It's Petter, who's actually here tonight on 186 points, and Rocco, who's not here. So that battle for third, really, you can count out of it. Denzo in 5th on 143, Zero 6th on 134, Tyne 7th on 132, Sparkling 8th on 104, Amenda 9th on 79, and Hede in 10th on 68 points. We've got the likes of Macho, Black Box coming up towards the end of the season as well. They're in 11th and 13th respectively. But Jensen's already wrapped up the championship. Pretty much the top three positions not to play for whatsoever. However, that Zero Amenda sort of battle in the mid-pack could be quite interesting.
Yeah, Zero obviously got a puncture in Brazil, which was quite heart-wrenching, as he was looking strong for a podium, as Zero will probably hope for some good luck here. We saw, I think it was probably 2 or 3 virtual safety cars and a full safety car or 2 in F2. So we could have a lot of action and crashes around Abu Dhabi if F2 is anything to go by.
We could do indeed, and yeah, Abu Dhabi is one of those circuits, of course, where the drivers hate and we get paid to do the commentary, which is not that great whatsoever. But I'm sure the throwing shade at the organisers will probably stop as we go through the stream tonight. Of course, the constructors as well. Alfa Romeo out on top on 557 points. They are done. Ferrari in second on 371. They've wrapped up second. Mercedes in third on 179. But the constructors battle between Renault, McLaren, Racing Point, and AlphaTauri looking quite close, along with Red Bull, 4th down to 8th, covered by, I make that, 39 points covering into tonight. It's still all to play for those constructors.
Yeah, definitely. It's been probably not very close at the start of the season, but I think after some drivers leaving at the start and it getting pretty messy at the start around Baku, where we had hardly 13 drivers attending, we've now, some of the replacements have come on really strong. I think of McLaren, the 2 Spaniards really performing. I think they might have been even last after the first round, and now they're recovering quite nicely to fight for that P4 spot. So it'll definitely be a good fight to look out for. Probably very tough to keep up with 4 teams all fighting it out, but we'll do our best.
We will do our best, of course, indeed, as we come, of course, to the Abu Dhabi circuit. Normally the season finale, and indeed it is the season finale, of course, here in FRL this evening at the Yas Marina circuit. I normally call this circuit the Marina Bay Street circuit, not to be confused with Singapore, of course. 5.5 kilometres in length, the 21 turns awaiting the drivers out on track, with the 2 DRS zones, of course, one down the straight down in towards turn 8, and then one down in towards turn 11 at the end of the middle sector. But, Bunty, it is important to note that because of the track changes that it's going to be happening, of course, in Abu Dhabi this season in Formula 1, this could well be the final time we ever race on this layout.
Yeah, I mean, there's some minor but quite subtle changes to some of the corners, like I think the hairpin, if I'm right, just before the main straight is slightly changed to promote a bit more overtaking. It's actually quite easy to do on the F1 game to overtake around this track, but in terms of real life, we have seen some quite boring races in the history, like in France, which is also going to be changed. But yeah, it will definitely be an interesting one for the upcoming seasons.
Oh, Stephen is very annoyed, by the way. Apparently he's been kicked out the lobby, which I'm not mistaken. Of course, keep it respectful in the chat is what I will say. Keep it respectful to everyone, and hopefully we're going to be seeing some good racing, of course, out on track tonight. We have got a few new faces here in FRL. We've got the returning Silas. I mispronounced his name on many occasions back in the F2 days of FRL. But Silas is a very good mid-pack driver. He's in the AlphaTauri. Lars Kramer, who I know very well from TTML Division 2, he raced once there. He's in the Renault. And URL Ryan, the Scotsman, also in the Renault, along with YouTube Louis. I don't know how to pronounce that name. He's in the Racing Point, though.
Yeah.
Everyone else is pretty much familiar.
I mean, there's a lot of new faces. Obviously, we're trying out for the new game, which is a lot of them will be in F1, which is looking a pretty fiery grid for next season. The likes of Ryan, I think, will be somewhat up there in the top 5 as we finally get Watermelon to join 7 minutes late. But yeah, I mean, it's all worth it. We've now got a pretty damn fast grid, and I think the slowest driver you'll be looking at is, no disrespect to Jacko, but hopefully he'd probably prove me wrong and come get a podium, but you know, we'll see. Which he did say actually in Brazil, didn't he?
He did. You cannot do Jacko dirty like that whatsoever. I mean, he finished 7th. 7th he finished in Brazil and beat half the field.
True.
Terrible.
I mean, that was brilliant comeback drive, to be fair, but I'm not from. I swear Jacko used to be in F1 quite a while back as well.
He did.
I think he's a veteran driver, as we put it.
He did. He's along the likes of Silas, or Silas, as the Dane. Both of them are in F2 when I last commentated on a race here in FRL. Of course, I've done the last 3 weeks, plus tonight, here of course in Abu Dhabi. Those guys are very interesting to watch because they can pick their way through the field if incidents do occur. And around a track like Abu Dhabi, you would imagine that there's going to be quite a lot of incidents, possibly through the infamous car killer corner of turn 3. Because if you lose the back end that steps out there, if you've got that unstable setup, you will really lose the back end. You'll go into the wall like Amenda did back in the F3 days. Amenda, I remember him crashing in Formula 3, in FRL F3. He was already crowned the champion, but he crashed coming through turn 3 and he was leading the race. Yeah,
that's some good memory. I certainly don't remember that. I was just going to say the other thing we can definitely expect around Abu Dhabi is very bone dry. I mean, you might even get a bit of sand on the track, how close we are to the deserts here. I don't imagine we'll see even a speck of rain, although to be fair, I think in F2 it looked pretty overcast in the race, but I'm pretty sure it's 100% chance of rain for the race.
If we get rain, I will run outside stark bollock naked.
Oh, no.
It never happens around here. It just never happens, and that is going to definitely go in the reel of, well, bad moments here, I think, in FRL. Hopefully, we're going to see some good action, of course, out on track. The first cars are now coming out onto the track, and I believe it's Jensen who might be the first one to leave the pit lane underneath the grandstand, of course, through turns 1, 2, and then through turn 3. He's coming out on a set of mediums, already the champion, and out behind him is Relentless Rocco. Now, Rocco, I think I mentioned he wasn't going to actually attend tonight, but he is here. So Rocco and Petter, that battle for third actually is on tonight.
Yeah, I think a lot of us British fans weren't, or English fans, God, sorry to the Welsh and Scottish for getting knocked out, and even the Irish for not even qualifying. But yeah, I mean, I think luckily the football was done in 90 minutes, so we can be here. Otherwise, I don't think there would be any stream. And as you've probably said, Jensen, the world champion, who's looking to get his. Give me a sec, let me count this, it's quite a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11th win of the season, which would mean he's won 50% of the races, which is probably somewhere around Hamilton, respectfully, in the real F1.
Yeah, it would be unreal, I think, if he was to produce a 50% winning streak here in FRL. That would be insane. It'll probably be one of the highest win to race ratios you can probably ever have in FRL. There's a Ferrari that's just gone past. I think it's Macho who might be the first actually to set up on a lap. Of course, the newly crowned F2 champion. I believe he beat T-Hawk by 12 points in the end in the championship. Yeah. So Macho on top last night. Last night? Yeah, it is Tuesday. Yeah, it is Tuesday. It was last night. I thought it's Wednesday. Goodness me. Macho though, about to start us off on a lap. Coming through the final corner. Expect the lap times to be around the 1:32 mark, I would imagine, on a set of top competitor tyres, and we'll run on board with Macho, the newly crowned F2 champion, into turn 1, and beautiful through turn 1, runs out wide slightly, but that's to get the run through turn 2, and then through car killer corner, catch the curb on there, and you get spun off into the wall through turn 3, but a 16.7 through the first sector for Macho, through turn 4 and turn 5, and then up towards turn 6 and turn 7, now through the hairpin at turn 7, on the run down in towards turn 8, and of course turn 8 and 9, the chicane remaining as part of the formal layout for this season's race in Formula 1. Going down then in towards turn 8 and 9, we'll speak about the layout changes around the track as we go along, but Macho coming down in towards turn 8, no lock up on the brakes, which is good, and catches the curb through turn 9, and then runs onto the DRS zone, down in towards turn 12, past the F2 pit straight to the right hand side, of course where they used to start the races around here in Abu Dhabi in Formula 2. Macho through the middle sector, 56.2, this chicane no longer as we go through in the middle sector. There will be a flat left-hander basically transferring them onto this part of the track where it now goes towards the grandstand, and this is where the subtle changes will begin to happen on the new track layout. Macho into the triple right-hander, 15, 16, 17, then in towards turn 18, underneath the grandstand he comes, undercome the Arab Amram Coal barrier, bit of a mouthful to say that, through turn 19, then through turn 20, and now Macho on a very good lap. This, I've got to say, might be a 1:32 to begin off the night. Macho round the final corner, comes to the line, 1:32.6 is a stonking lap to start us off.
Yeah, Macho actually is on time trial, or on quali, believe it or not, 3/10 off the world record. This man just finds speed. Lars, I just seen in a Renault, just invalidates, but he's going to finish off the lap. We'll see what it would have been. 32.4 from Lars. If he didn't invalidate, that would have been provisional pole there. So we've got a very, very competitive grid at the moment. I'm just seeing Lou, one of the new guys, is getting held up a bit with dirty air behind Zero, and there's a McLaren ahead. Oh no, David's nearly parked it on the apex. Lou's going to continue with this lap. Apparently he's a YouTuber, I'm not sure about that. Is it going to be in a 32s for him? Yeah. Just about. Very impressive from Lou, the new newcomer. And Ryan as well, sticking it up there in the top 5.
Yeah, he goes second, but there's Messina just going to the top in the Mercedes, a 1:32.5 to start off the night. I think it was Flex that said a 1:32.9 as possible around here. Look at the lap times now, 1:32.5 for Messina. Macho on in second, YouTube, Lou in third with Jensen fourth, Ryan in fifth, Amender in sixth. Silas on his return to FRL in seventh with a 1:33.8. Pelly Watermelon, hopefully he doesn't get squashed out on track. Bullboy in 10th and Rocco in 11th. And I apologise to Watermelon if he's watching this later.
Yeah, I mean, Silas, I think I heard he hasn't done a league race, I think he had said, for 5 or so months. So to even be slightly ahead of the likes of Bullboy and Pelly, I think that is pretty damn impressive for the man in the AlphaTauri.
Tell you, man, he's on a very good lap here. Petter coming through the final corner in the Ferrari. He's on a very good lap. He's not going to be around Macho area, but a 1:33.5. If he nailed that final sector more and if he was more committed, he'd be on the road to where Lou is. Third position that could have been possibly for Petter, 1:33.5, but still a good lap. He is qualified ahead of Rocco currently, though.
Yeah, I think, if I'm not mistaken, David is pushing on a lap.
Yeah.
Yeah, just coming through the now penultimate corner. This one is so easy to invalidate. There's no brake marker boards, which makes it quite difficult. This one here, you gotta try and hook up the curb. He hasn't really maximised the track, and he's still, no, he doesn't push, but still quite a good lap considering it was far from perfect, that last sector.
Yeah, the Spaniard up into sixth, ahead of his teammate by about a 1/10.5 of a second, ahead of Petter as well. David into sixth, Petter in seventh. Looking on board, seeing if there's anybody actually on night lap. Zero's on night lap, Speldenar also on night laps. I think everyone is complete on their first run, so it's Messina out on top, Macho second, Lou in third, Jensen in fourth, Ryan fifth, David in sixth, Petter seventh, Amenda eighth, Silas ninth, Pelly running off the top 10, Watermelon, Bullboy, Jacko and Rocco, the 14 drivers that have so far set laps. Zero, though, a man that is going to be hoping to try and outscore Tyne. Of course, Tyne is not here tonight. He's going to be ahead of Sparkling in the championship as well. He could possibly get top 5.
Yeah, Tyne obviously moving to pad. I believe it was, if we can say it correct, I'm going to predict, I think it was Hungary was his last race for Tyne. Oh, it was Hungary. He got second. So, yeah, I think tying after Hungary was quite far ahead of Zero, who's slowly been reeling back the gap. I think Zero does like a medium qualifying strategy, but the one time he did do the soft strategy, which is very rare, was in Brazil, where he looked really competitive. So, Zero just going back to his normal, traditional medium, I'd imagine medium, soft, probably, if he wants to do the 2-stop. But it can definitely be a 1-stop, which is quite viable.
Yeah, you'd imagine, to be honest, the 2-stop is probably quicker strategy around here. 16.8 through the first sector from Zero as he comes through turns 5 and 6, up in towards turn number 7. Still Messina out on top, Macho second, Lou in third. Spellner also on a lap behind as well. He's just coming through the hairpin at turn 7, but Zero on a lap. There's a yellow flag in sector 3. Don't worry about that. I believe it is actually David on a down lap. He might have run out of fuel just coming in towards turn number 20. Zero, though, on a set of mediums coming through turn 8 and 9. He doesn't want to be ruining his look though from Brazil. Remember, in Brazil, it was about 2 laps from the end in what I called the race of the season, and I stand by that as well. Zero picked up a puncture very late on. We hope that it's not going to happen tonight, but a 56.6 through the middle sector is not too bad.
Yeah, just saying Macho there on the penultimate corner, nearly losing it into the just left of the pit lane. But Zero, I think he can really lean on his tyres. He could probably do 2 runs if he's on the pair of mediums. So I don't think he'll be in trouble for a puncture if it's a 1-stop. If it's a 2-stop, I don't imagine either, to be honest. So I don't know where I was getting there. But yeah, I think P11 it should be the aim for Zero. I think allow him to do a nice 1-stop as the Ferrari's giving slipstream. So that is quite clever. Not sure how much is it going to gain, Macho, but better get out of the way soon.
Zero, by the way, would have went 5th with that lap time. He would have went ahead of Ryan on that lap, a 1:33.326, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken. So Zero, 18th position, not on a lap at the minute. Macho, though, is on a lap. He's coming in toward the end of the middle sector, and well, he's a 10th up on his time. He can improve, of course, in the final sector. It's a very technical final sector. Goodness me, I thought he nearly lost it there on the outside curb. How did he save that? And how on earth has he actually kept the car running? And I think he's gained time there as opposed to lose it.
Jensen has also done a 56.2, which is, I think, just about, if you round it up, 2/10 slower than Macho, but he has not had the moment at the corner of, I think, at turn 18. So Jensen's looking good if Macho can't get pole.
Macho's going quickest here. Macho, I think, is going to go quickest to the line. Wow, 32.2, and now that lays the gauntlet down. Messina in second. He's 1,310 in the first sector. Jensen is 2.5 tenths up to the end of the middle sector. Now in towards the final 2 corners. Through turn 20 and through turn 21. Lost it on the exit of the curb. Comes across the line. He goes second, and that cost him, I think, still a 7/10 improvement, though, from mediums to softs. You can probably find more than a second, I would say, on a set of mediums to a set of softs. But Macho out on top. Jensen in second. Messina in third. I have a feeling, though, Jensen might be holding something in reserve as Messina has just invalidated through turn 8.
Yeah, I think Macho's returning the favour to Pedavol here, so Pedavol we could expect to leap his way up the grid, but at the moment I think Jensen probably could have pushed a bit harder. Definitely the last corner probably maybe even cost him 3/10 by just how far wide he had to go. So Jensen definitely is going to be looking to retake that provisional pole and yeah, just take it away from his future teammate, I think Macho will be.
Yeah, Black Box has just gone 5th as well. 200s up from Petter. Looked like he had a really, really slow exit coming out the first chicane. Now through the second chicane, that was a lot quicker through there. And Petter will be hoping to try and get this final sector nailed in. There was a car just off to the left-hand side. I think that was Pelly on a down lap. Rocco was also out there somewhere on a lap. I think he's coming down in towards turn 11, if I'm not mistaken. But Petter on a lap, towards turn 19. Let's see what he can do. Macho still out on top. Jensen second. Messina in third. It's quite a sparse grid at this moment in time. I think Silas has just gone up to 10th there. Speldano in 11th. Pelly's still 12th. But Petter ran the final corner. Not going to be competitive at all. 33.3. And he just jumps ahead of Ryan by 2,000ths of a second.
Yeah, it was just a little bit sloppy. A few mistakes in that last section. I think a lot of the drivers are struggling with tyre temperatures in that last section. Like in Spain, the tyres do get pretty baking hot with the left-right sequences, especially with the long left-hand, well, double right-hander of turn 20. No, sorry, I've got that wrong. Sorry, 15 and 16. So just like Amenda's here, I think the tyres will start to overheat, so we can see mistakes in a race as well around this sort of area.
Just seeing on board, Amenda's 2/10 up actually in the middle sector, 33.6 through the, on his current lap I should say, but it was a very good middle sector from Amenda, coming out through turn 19, in towards turn 20 and 21, nearly touched the wall there to the right hand side, coming out of 19, through 20, and then in towards 21, 5 minutes left, it's Matthew out on top, Jensen second, Messina in third, Amenda though, what's he going to do? Comes across the line, he goes 8th, in the end, 2/10 improvement there ahead of his teammate Davin by about 500ths of a second, so the two McLarens 8th and 9th, Messina is invalid on a lap, Lou also invalidated on the lap, he's going to start again, but Macho's out on top, Jensen second, Messina third, but a very, very much sparse grid. Rocker was also invalid on the lap, he's down in 17th at the minute, Petter's all the way up in 6th, Rocker has got a mountain to climb, quite literally, if he's trying to outscore Petter for P3.
Yeah, I think the bottom 4, apart from Flex, I would imagine obviously Flex to move up the grid, but Lars as well, don't forget, he was, I think, going to be around that P2 spot early on in qualifying, but he did invalidate, so I'd imagine a lot of drivers to start jumping up, and we could see the racing points maybe even get knocked out of the top 10 if the track really starts to ramp up, and I guess the drivers find even more time as Lou is going on. Yeah, I think he might be down on his time as he kind of stuffed up the chicane a little bit, but we'll see. The second sector split, is it going to be an improvement?
No.
But he's not down too much, so Lou's just going to try to hook up the many chicanes on this track and just try and manage the traction as he almost gets an invalidation on exit. But using all the curves to his advantage here, the racing point, the Dutchman running quite well so far as
he's
he
backed off.
has... I think he has, but...
I can only assume he
not quite
backed off
sure.
there, because, yeah, that was Flex, I think, on an outlap beside him. There was yellow flags in the middle sector, and Lou, I think, might have thought that Flex had crashed, and he wasn't to overtake him, maybe? I don't know, but Lou's back in split lane, regardless. 3 minutes to go, just over. Macho out on top, Jensen second, Messina in third. Lou backed off that lap. I don't think he was happy with that at all, coming out through into the final sector.
Yeah, Speldenar, another driver, as well as Zera, I believe. He's 3/10 up here, Speldenar, so if he can find slightly more time, he's actually up there as he nearly loses it, and yeah, for sure he's going to have to back off. Yeah, definitely drivers really struggling under traction, as you say. I think Zera is invalid, but Flex going through the hairpin, keeping it quite clean and planting the traction nicely, and he'll be looking to get up the order after not setting a lap.
Yeah, no lap set for Flex at the minute, 18th position. Zabel and Lars Kramer still either in the pit lane or haven't set a lap time just yet. It is still Macho out on top. Jensen in second, Messina in third. I see two Ferrari slipstreaming down the straight, and I think Macho's getting a bit of slipstream here, if I'm not mistaken. I can just see it on the minimap. I'm still on board with Flex, but I'm just watching that, and that'll be Macho now going in towards turn 8. Petter giving him the slipstream on his outlap. Good stuff. Flex, by the way, 56.6 in the middle sector. Zero has retired coming into the pit lane, so he's starting no better than 19th position. If Lars Kramer gets a lap in, then he's going to be starting at the back.
Yeah, Macho up by 600s here. This is going to be a really strong lap from Macho. I think if I don't run... Didn't he have a quite poor last sector, if I remember correctly, Macho?
Yeah.
So he could be looking to get into the 31s, which will be pretty something we definitely wouldn't expect. Obviously, Macho, I think he did, as I said, 31.6 in time trial. So he's just going to be really putting the hammer down here to try and flex the muscles just before Jensen starts and probably give him a little bit of a scare maybe even next season. So Macho is going to come around the last corner. What's he going to be? Is it going to be a 31? It isn't! Oh, very, very close for sure, as Blackbox is starting his lap as well. And that is definitely going to send some shivers down Jensen's spine, whether he can beat that.
I don't think there's going to be an improvement from anyone on that lap. It's Macho out on top, Jensen second, Messina in third. Everyone there on their outlaps, and Blackbox is coming in towards turn 7. He had Lars Kramer behind. Lars Kramer on an outlap, which only suggests to me we might have a little bit of a glitch with the timings maybe. I don't think is going to get round in time.
Yeah, just seeing Ryan here as well, 3/10 up. I think every time you run it over to me, there is a driver who's up by a quite nice margin. Ryan here obviously debuting in the Renault, along with Lars who's returned, but see what Ryan can do. He's going to take the shortest run up to the line, and it's a big improvement. It's up to P4, and I think that is what I'm talking about in terms of drivers making their way and actually being the racing point.
Black Box is 2/10 up, but look ahead of him. He has got traffic. He's got a Haas and two McLarens. Pelly, Amanda, and David need to get out of the way here. They're all on night laps. Pelly needs to get out of the way, and he just about does, and that is not going to give Black Box any confidence at all. Coming in towards the triple right-hander, the Dirty F flings him out wide, but now coming through turn 18, he is up on his time, so he's got to be around the Ryan sort of area, maybe towards Messina if he really nails these final two corners. Black Box through turn 20, through turn 21, of course, our race winner a couple of weeks ago. Black Box through the final corner, runs to the line, and he goes fourth. Good lap time in the end, 4.5 improvement.
Yeah, Jensen here, he's in the first sector, he's done a 16.6, which is something we don't see very often. And Jensen, he's lost it, and I think that's going to be... Well, he's still pushing, I believe. He's going to have to absolutely send it in this last sector to find any improvement, but he's only 600ths down, so Jensen's still got a lot to improve by, and he invalidates, and that is his pole chances gone.
That is his pole chances gone. Messina is 1900ths up, coming in towards turn number 8 and turn number 9. Ryan not on the lap. Lou is 8,000 up, however. He's in the final sector.
Messina just lost it there. I was just going to say at the chicane. See if Black Box does the same as well. He doesn't, but a lot of people dropping it at the doing kind of a half spin at around turn 9, where you have to pick it up nicely. Some drivers do go wide on entry and then do not touch the curb as much as Black Box has backed off.
Lou's on a good lap. Lou
moves up to 4th on his debut, no less. So looking good for Lou here, who I think said he's got some sort of, I think he had a vaccine in fact for maybe COVID, so his arm's probably hurting quite a bit. As Silas goes up to 6th, so we're seeing many improvements here. Yeah,
good improvement from Silas. He goes 6th, and look at the times between Jensen, Messina and Lou. That's 5 thousandths of a second. Yes, you heard me right. Oh, as I say that, Messina's just gone 2nd with a 1:32.489. He has to ruin the fun, doesn't he? Messina 2nd, Jensen in 3rd, Lou in 4th. Amenda's on a good lap here. Oh, he just invalidates coming out of turn 19. Oh, no.
Yeah, I was just going to say, David, both McLarens were kind of catching up to each other, which wasn't ideal. But David, he looks like he's hicked up the last corner pretty nicely. He's P9, but very strong from the Spaniards, as his counterpart will start P11, which could be a blessing.
Jacko taking a very weird line coming across the final corner there, coming across the line. That is him done. Black Box waiting on retiring, and that is the end of qualifying.
Yeah, some major surprises with Rocco. I don't think he put in the practice, to be fair to him. But on the mediums, I don't think we can expect much from Rocco with a lack of practice. But maybe he'll phase into the race towards the end of it.
We shall have to wait and see what is going to unfold around the 28 laps, of course, here at Abu Dhabi. And it's Macho, the F2 champion, out on top, defeating an F1 Esports Challenger Series driver. Never thought you'd see that in FRL. Macho out on top, Messina in 2nd, Jensen in 3rd, and Lou on his debut in 4th. Good lap from him, with Black Box in 5th, Silas on his return in 6th, Ryan, newcomer, in 7th, with Pelly in 8th, David in 9th, and Petter only 10th as well. Bit of a shock from him in qualifying. Amanda in 11th, Flex in 12th, Rocco down in 13th. He went on set of mediums, probably going to try and go one stop, I would imagine. Watermelon in 14th, Speldenar 15th, Mads in 16th, Bullboy 17th, Jacko in 18th, Zero and Lars Kramer, two very quick drivers starting right from the back of the grid. But Macho out on top, Messina in 2nd. The gap between Messina and Black Box, less than 1/10 of a second, covering 4 drivers.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Once you take Macho out of that equation, it's really close to scrap for pole there. But Macho, just once again, he's on a completely new level. You'd be fooled to think he's an F2 driver, because as it is dry, unless you haven't loaded in, which I have spoiled. So, I've
loaded in, I think, the same time as you. It is quite cloudy though over the circuit.
It does look slightly overcast, but it is night time. Of course, the race in Abu Dhabi officially. So shame there is no championship fight. That was settled all the way back in Singapore about 2 months ago, if you want real life. But yeah, definitely still some stuff to fight for in terms of the drivers, or see the battle for P2, 3 and 4, and same with the constructors for the battle for 4th.
Yeah, it is going to be fascinating to see, of course, how all of this is going to pan out on track. I'm going to ask you, though, in the comment section, to you guys, whoever you are watching around the world as we are tuning in here in FRL, who are you predicting for the race win and for your top 3? We didn't do our qualifying predictions, as we were supposed to, but we will do our race predictions. So, Bunty, I'm going to come across to you first. Who's your top 3?
I think Macho, after having practiced nicely for F2, will probably take that practice quite well into F1. I think he'll take the win. I do think Jensen will take second after his good form in Brazil. And I'll go with Lars in third. I don't know how he'll get it, but I do think he'll somehow take third from the back of the grid.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what Lars can do. If I remember rightly, he was quite quick in TTML, only for the one race he raced in, but he was quite quick. Xavier, we know, is very quick as well. So both of them, plus Rocco, I would say, are probably the 3 to watch out for further down the field beyond the mid-pack. But it's Macho on top, Messina second, Jensen in third. My top 3, I'm going to go Jensen for the win. I think he's got too much pace for these guys, if I've got to be honest. Second, I'm going to go for Macho, and in third, I'm going to go Amenda for third.
I'm not sure whether Lars has spun there, but definitely Amenda could be a good shout in 11th with the free tyre choice. And what has he chosen? I haven't managed to look at the tyres.
Mediums.
Mediums. I mean, he could have gone bold on the hards, but I think the hards, compared to the softs, there's a massive pace difference. Abu Dhabi is quite similar to Singapore in a sense that the tyres, once they go off, they really do go off, because you can just have massive overheating. But the tyre wear is actually not too massive around here, so we could have a lot of variations with strategy.
Tyre wear for the set of soft runners, to be honest, you're going to be very much hoping that you don't pit in before lap 7, because that's the only time they will last 2 on a set of softs. So those guys who qualified on that set of tyre will be on a set of softs, but they will be wearing towards the end of their first stint, and you would imagine that they're probably going to go maybe into the field of a 2-stop strategy as opposed to a 1-stop. But I've seen madder things in Formula 1, and I've seen madder things around here in Abu Dhabi, so who knows what the strategy can really unfold. On a set of mediums, the likes of Amenda, Flex, Rocco, all on a set of mediums, they're going to be hoping to go beyond the mid-pack, the mid-race battle, probably around lap 12, lap 13, the pit stops will start to form for that. Bullboy on a set of hards, however, further down the field, he's going to be hoping to go to around lap 21 and then onto a set of softs.
Yeah, Bullboy mixing up quite nicely to give us a little bit of just to keep an eye on him. I think if possibly a safety car lap 10, that could spice things up. Because we got 4 red lights, 5 red lights, as there's probably a delay.
Yeah, I'm preempting it. 5 red lights that are about to go out for the final time this season in here in FRL F1. And it is... Well, Pelly's got a drive through, but it's lights and away we go. Messina gets a very good start. Bogging down off the start is Jensen. I think Lou's just run into the back of him there as well. Black Box boxed in, but Macho leads through turn 1. Messina in second, Lou in third. And it was actually Black Box that actually ran into the back as Jensen overtakes all the way around the outside through turn 2. Now through turn 3, Lou looks like he's got a very unstable setup. And it's 3 wide running down in towards turn number 5. Silas trying to go around the outside of Lou. He's on the inside line now for 6, in towards turn 7. Very clean start by everyone, I think, up and down the field. Zabel in P19. Pelly is the one that got caught out as a result of a drive-through, but Macho leads Messina second. Jensen third. They pull miles clear of the rest. Lou, Black Box, Flex all running. Flex is already up to 7th. What a race he's having so far. Lou is on the back of Silas, though, running down in towards turn number 8, turn 9, I nearly forgot that. It's 3 wide in the background as well. Watermelon and Rocco going side by side. Amenda's trying to stick his nose in, I should say, on Amenda, or on Petter, I should say.
Yeah, a lot of teams are getting very close together here. The racing points have been almost battling the whole lap as Black Box thinks about a move.
David!
Lou goes a bit deep as David makes a move on Ryan, but 2 racing points are looking really racy at the moment.
I thought that was damage for Petra. I thought he ran into the back of Ryan in a bit of a Constantino effect. Amenda, I think, is the one that might have got damage as well. But if they have, it's very light because I can't see any visible damage.
Yeah, I'm not really sure about that. I think the mediums of Amenda might seem deceiving that he has damage. But as you said, it was a mighty start from Flex on the mediums. I'm not sure whether he did it cleanly because I didn't have an eye on him. I was looking at the racing points, but my God, 7th on the mediums. He's really setting himself up for a good race if he can stick in a DRS of the racing points. As once again, Black Box is just thinking about a move on Lou. as Black Box goes almightily wide there, probably picked up a warning.
Yeah, Black Box run on the back of Lou, end of lap 1. It's Macho that leads, Messina second, Jensen in third. They have pulled clear of Silas, Lou and Black Box 4th, 5th and 6th. Flex, by the way, started 12th. He's all the way up to 7th, so good start from him. David in 8th, Ryan in 9th, Petty 10th, Amanda in 11th, Rocco, Watermelon, Jackal, Speldenar, Mads, Loz, Kramer, Zero, Bullboy, top 19. Pelly came in for his drive-through. Messina's right on the back of Jensen. Sorry, right on the back of Macho, I should say.
Yeah, but Mazzini, is he going to go down the inside? He is going to dive it down the inside. The Ferrari's going to look for the better exit of the second straight. There's no DRS here, but Macho is going to get boxed in here with just too much of a good exit. As
Amanda's round.
Amanda's around, but Lars also had damage behind Mads. And Macho is going to try and stick around the outside. He's got the overtake on. Can he stick it around the outside of Mazzina? They're going to drive very respectfully, and Macho is going to make a world-class move there to retake the lead.
Fantastic battle between the top two. It's Macho, the F2 champion, against Messina, the F1 esports star. It's Macho out on top, Messina second, Jensen in third. Really, really good one-to-one racecraft there, and that's what I've got to highlight on tonight. Brilliant racecraft between them both. Messina is a very fair driver once he gets his way. Macho, very fair driver as well. And Jensen, the champion, of course, in third position. He'd be hoping that these two can fight a little bit more often, and then he can try and launch onto the back, running down the straight in towards turn 8.
Yeah, Lou all over the back of Silas. Silas just doesn't have the pace of the top three. But there seems to be a kind of, well, I think there's a massive DRS train all the way from Silas down to Zero, as Bullboy's just out of DRS on the hards. But all the battling, I think, is just allowing everyone to stick in each other's DRS, which does mean the driver who doesn't have DRS at the front of this train, Silas, is going to be under some good pressure.
Amanda into the pit lane, by the way, got caught up in an instant coming through turn 8 and 9. Left side end plate damage on the car, so he is into the pit lane, and Pelly is out ahead of him because Pelly, of course, had a drive-through penalty for jumping the start. Macho still leading the way in towards turn number 8. Lou's right on the back though of Silas running down in towards turn number 8. He'll look to the inside line, but he doesn't want to try and risk it. The Scotsman, Ryan, however, going side by side with David. David trying to look around the outside. Good move that though by Ryan. He is through and he's into 8th position. Nobody wants to be hanging like a cow there. Coming through turn 8. David, though, is going to get a great run on the back of Ryan. He's still going to go side by side, possibly. Tugs back in the slipstream, going to try and attack. He's got flex for a run as well. Silas and Lou are fighting up and down the field as well for 4th and 5th. And now look at Black Box trying to get in this as well. Lou's around the outside, though, on Silas. Round the outside he goes. He's up to 4th. Flex still 7th. Ryan through on David, and he's up to 8th.
Yeah, there are 3 battles going on at once. I think Jacko has been attacked and has lost the position to Speldenar. Yep. As you said, Ryan and David, Ryan just managing to defend the position, but Silas could do nothing against the racing point of Lou. As Jacko's all over the place, nearly spinning, he's going to have to be careful here, because if he gets damaged, that just could simply be his chance of points out the window.
I've just seen a very funny video of Boris celebrating England's second goal. Macho out on top, Messina in second, Jensen in third. Take a look at that on Twitter later on now, and don't ruin your race by doing it. Macho's out on top, but Messina second. Messina's looking very close, I've got to say, on the back of Macho. Jensen doesn't look like he's got the pace. He might be overwearing his tyres slightly, but Messina is right there where he needs to be, really, to try and get this overtake done. We'll watch down the straight, because I think Messina's going to get this move done. Down in towards turn 8. It's going to be late braking, I would assume, but he's not got the overtake mode on. However, he might not need it, because look at him, he's closing in. We'll dummy it maybe to the inside line. The Macho defends that inside line, and we're still as we are. First and second still covered 0.3 of a second.
Macho, I think he's picked up a warning there. Just had a moment like he did in qualifying, but Macho is derating, that is for sure, under 10%. So
There comes Silas.
See that. Silas is going to retake the move and retake 4th as the racing points are now once again joined together. Black Box is just, because he's the 3rd man in that train, as like in league racing usually is, you just cannot make the move on P2.
Jackal's ran wide. Yeah. Sorry to cut in, I'm watching a battle down for 12th and 13th. Speldenar was trying to go down the inside of Watermelon. Didn't get the move done. He was trying to pick the pips up, I think, to try and get that one done. That's terrible. Oh, Watermelon in 12. Speldenar 13. Lawrence Kramer, though, trying to go around the outside of the triple right-hander on Mad. 2 Danes, of course, fighting out, and Lawrence Kramer looks the inside line. This is job done for Lawrence Kramer. What a move!
Oh no, that is take the switch back by Mads.
Yeah, we could have predicted that one from a mile off.
I think, oh god, Mads does get a penalty. I think Mads might be getting a bit frustrated behind Lars, because he does have damage, I think.
Petterin.
Yeah.
Petter's into the pit lane, very
Two-stop.
early pit stop. Oh, front wing damage, right on
front
end
wing.
plate.
That's quite telling, as Mazzina's right on the back of the Ferrari.
Yeah, he's about as close as he has been last lap around. Actually, with a slight bit of oversteer, but now Messina, look at him. Now, looking to try and get this move done, and you can tell he's going to get the move done. Look at the closing speed. Messina roars past Macho. Macho, I don't think, will have a response whatsoever here, and Messina will be through, of course. Separate DRS detection zones, not like Mexico, as Lou is battling with Silas 4th and 5th, down in towards the corner, and Lou is through, and he's into P4 on Silas, so he is through. Macho does not fight back, though, on the back of Messina, running down in towards turn 11. Lars Kramer and Mads are still having a battle, a bit of a ding-dong between them both. And Zero, yeah, he hasn't made enough ground at the minute. Silas down the inside line on the outside, Lou on the inside line.
Ooh,
Black Box trying to get in there as well.
What a move! Oh, Casillas, oh, he might get a warning there, but hopefully not. Silas is trying to get the switch back. These racing points are so racy today, and I've just realised the AlphaTauris as well, they're in 6th and 7th, so I guess the midfield is probably where you'd expect them to be in real life, as there's yellow flags, and that is Mads. He has not had a brilliant race. I'm not sure what happened. That might have been
spun by himself, I think.
Lars, but yeah, probably spun. I think he's probably getting frustrated in that kind of lower midfield at the moment.
I thought Macho that he ran into the back of Messina there, but they're into the pit lane, and this is what I warned, the soft component tyres cannot go beyond lap 7 around here, and that's why we've seen the early pit stops begin to happen from the guys in the top 3. So Macho is in. Jensen, however, I thought he nearly jumped Macho coming out the pit lane, but he hasn't. Macho and the likes are going to be rejoining behind Ball Boy, I think, so in a bit of clear out, which is good. Pelly is coming down the start-finish rate. He's going to be side-by-side with Silas, I think. Silas and Pelly have had their own private ding-dong in the past in FRL, but I think Silas just about ahead of him. So Silas out in 17th, Pelly in 18th. Pelly, of course, with that drive-through penalty. Black Box now, though, closing in on his teammate Lou, down in towards turn number 8 and 9. Not quite close enough, though. 2 racing points, though, leading 1st and 2nd.
Yeah, Mazzina's has, I think, many times this season, like in Spa, he's going to catch up to his teammate here at just the right moment, because if he can pass him before the 3rd sector, Bullboy will hold up Macho as much as possible, as of course they are teammates at Mercedes, and they are fighting at the moment for P3 in the championship, but they have got it secured, I'm pretty sure, as Mazzina makes a nice overtake on Bullboy.
And that's a late breaking move from Zero as well. He's up into P10. Messina's through on Bullboy up into P12 just behind. But Zero very, very late on the brakes. He was about a car length behind on the back of Lars. Looked to the inside line now, got the job done. I think Lars has got left side end plate damage as well. So clearly there's been some sort of melee, possibly around the likes of Amenda, I would say, in the early stages of the race. And that's why we're seeing drivers with damage.
Black was just pitting there, so it means his Racing Point teammate is going to have to stay out another lap. But possibly a safety car could save Blue here, because the drivers who pitted on lap 5, they're going to get a two-lap undercut, which could be around 4 seconds at this track because of the tyre degradation around this circuit. As just seeing all the pit stop file through, this means Mazzina isn't going to be too far off Lars.
Macho and Jensen going round the outside of Ballboy through turn 1. Brilliant move on them both. Round the outside they go. Macho is through. Round the outside through turn 1. I think he got the job done down the inside line. Jensen's just clean sailed them around the outside. Ballboy has been mugged. 2 for 1 special offer. Macho through into 11th. Jensen into 12th.
I hope Bullboy wasn't being too respectful there, given his teammate is just ahead, but it means now a 3-second gap for Macho against Mazzina, who's got, as we know, really good consistency. Jensen's now going to make a move on his future teammate, the Ferrari consumer, I guess you call it, is overtaking the Ferrari manufacturer. But Macho will try and respond here, both being on a medium's equal freshness. Ryan gets overtaken by Rocco for P3.
Brilliant move.
But Rocco goes wide, and he's on sauce, Ryan, so his tires
there's contact!
Go off.
Jacko and Zero have made contact coming through the left-hander. I don't think Jacko gave him enough room there. It is very difficult, I've got to be honest, to go side by side through that corner, through the end of the middle sector, through turn 11 that was. Jacko and Zero make contact. I think Zero's got damage as well, if I'm not mistaken. He certainly lost the positions to Lars Kramer, but Zero now, his hopes of possibly getting at P5 in the championship have just taken a slight hit as both Lou and Ryan come into the pit at the end of lap 7. As well as Zero.
Yeah, Flex will just be praying here for a safety car. Same as Rocco. Rocco's qualifying performance will be redeemed as Messina. He gets
Lovely
past
move.
Lars, who obviously do have a history, not a great one, racing each other. So he'll be very happy to get that one done and dusted, and probably pull out of the DRS would give Messina a bit of, as he's actually in the DRS of Jack already. So Messina's going to carve his way through this field at the moment.
And he does it.
Jack with a hairpin, just to boot.
Yeah, he dives it down the inside line, as cheeky as you do. Messina has been, he's into 5th position, and he's picked up the DRS, and Jacko's going to be left behind. So Messina through, and he's into P5, but look at the gap he's got over Jensen. Jensen is carving his way through the field as well. Next lap around, he's going to be overtaking, I think, Lars and Jacko on this, on the next lap.
Rocco
See, that's by the way, Ball Boy.
Rocco just sails around the outside of Flex with the power of the DRS, which means Rocco is the lead medium runner at the moment, as Watermelon's in quite nicely, leading a very quiet race in 3rd, but Flex is starting to fade now after his very impressive
Ball Boy!
start.
Ball Boy's coming back at Silas. Silas has got the move done. He still might have the move done. Ball Boy runs out wide, but Ball Boy gets the move done, and Silas, as a result, picks up a 3-second penalty for contact. Jacko and Lars are side by side through the triple right-hander. And Jacko just about holds sway. Lars doesn't want to get embroiled in that battle, but the more they get embroiled in a battle, the more they're going to hold up Jensen and Macho.
Oh, see, that's what a move. If he can stick this round the outside, he does
it's
give
contact.
some, knowing not enough space. Too wide is tough, but I think Silas was the lead car there. And Bullboy was just didn't have the best exit, as Bullboy does go around at the corner of turn 18. Hard racing, I'd call that.
Thought Jensen he ran into the back of Lars. It's all kicking off here in FRL tonight. Rocco out on top, Flex in second, Watermelon in third. Rocco hoping to bring it home. And Jacko spun, yeah. And he's into the wall, VSC.
Jensen was about to overtake Lars there. And just as Jacko spins and crashes out of the race, it means Jensen, just at the moment he was going to go around the outside of turn 5. He can't do that. And he's just going to be hoping for a good launch here of the virtual safety car, as obviously you have to stick to a minimum required delta. So he'll just be waiting for the moment to pounce. His delta will be virtually the same as Lars, so he should have a very good chance of getting the overtake done on Lars, just as the green flags go out.
Jacko, typical. From 1 week he finishes 7th in Brazil, and the next week, he finishes, DNFs in Abu Dhabi. Terrible luck there by my co-commentator, who cursed him earlier on. Rocco out on top, Flex in second, Watermelon in third. Nobody picked up a drive-through. However, Petra and Ballboy are side by side, coming through turn 8 on the restart. Petra's going to try and get the move done here on Ballboy. Clean sailing move. The check is through on the Brit.
Oh, Jensen. I think has Lars got a problem?
Damage. Left side.
He's just letting them through, I think. I think Lars might need to make an early pit stop here, because he is just kind of damaging his race, having to get out the way of faster drivers and still carrying that damage.
Oh my god! David, sorry to cut in. Mads and David were side by side coming through turn 18 nearly, and David cannot find a way through on Mads, and he's on the fresher tyres, of course, is the Spaniard on the back of the Dane. Spain's and the Danes maybe meeting in the final of the Euros. Mads runs out wide, and David's got this move done.
Brilliant move from David, but Mads isn't going to give up. He actually doesn't have damage, surprisingly. And he has given up.
As soon as you said that, he gave up the position. He must have heard
Mads you. He's not had a great race so far, Mads, so I think he might just concede a few positions and hope for late safety cars. Rocco's still not pulled out the DRS of Flex, I think Flex has really impressed me so far. As there is a bit of a DRS train, and in that DRS train, Messina, with the fresher mediums by 6 laps, has made a nice move down the inside of Speldenar of turn 8. Speldenar obviously not going to fight back, but Messina is D-rating. So, as Watermelon's actually going to go down the inside for turn 2, and he's going to run it a little bit hot, but Flex is going to get the under and over here. And now Messina's going to get the move, and Speldenar's going to get the move. So Flex has just lost 3 positions. Yeah, in a space of about 2 corners, so not the best for Flex at all.
I believe Flex might have got pushed out wide there by Watermelon rejoining onto track, and that's why he lost the positions as a result. So I'm sure the stewards might have a look into that. Messina, however, though, carving his way through the field. Look at this, down the inside line into turn 20. Gets the move done on Watermelon. Absolutely sailing his way through the field. He's only got a 5-second gap over Jensen at this stage for the net lead. And Watermelon and Spellnar come across the line. They're 2/10 away from each other. It's lap 11 out of 28. We've had more action than bloody England versus Germany. Rocco out on top, Messina second, Watermelon in third, Spellnar in fourth, but Spellnar right on the back of his fellow compadre, and he now looks to the back as the yellow flag in sector 3, and Zero's out. Out of turn 20, that is. VSC.
How's he done that?
Outside curb, turn 20, I think. And he spun into the wall.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say, Messina with the help of his teammate and just being further through the traffic as we see in real F1. He's managed to navigate the traffic really nicely at the perfect points, which does mean he's got about, I think, 5.2 gap to Jensen, who's the only one who has pitted as well, apart from Messina. So, I mean, it's Messina's to lose at this point with 17 laps to go. Unless there's a safety car, the Finn is looking really strong to take the win.
Oh, he is. He really is, and Messina was one of the doubters. I didn't think, actually, he would have a good race tonight, and that's why I only put him second, but Messina, currently behind Rocco, these two go quite a way back. And Messina and Rocco, I'm interested to see how this is going to be, because I don't think Rocco was going to really give him any room, and I certainly don't think Messina's going to give him any room out on track. But back in the green flag racing, it's Rocco who leads Messina second, Watermelon in third. The VSC's playing into the guy's hands, maybe on a set of medium compound tyres and an older set of mediums, because the more that the VSC actually disrupts the race, the more tyre life there will be towards the end of the race. But I mean, look at this, Mercedes on the back of Rocco. You would imagine, start lap 12, these were the pit stops going to be happening from about this point onwards, but I don't think they are at this stage, so they'll probably be around the halfway stage now as a result of the VSCs. It's Ryan and Ballboy side by side.
Yeah, I was just been watching this battle, and Ryan, is he not going to do what Sealand did to Ballboy? Not again!
Oh, lovely!
Ballboy nearly spins, but what Ballboy, for the second time in a row, he's got his pants pulled down. He needs to learn, I think, at that corner to get a good exit. And his race is just going from bad to worse, I think.
Oh, Messina's down the inside of Rocco! Down the inside of Rocco he goes into turn 7, job done! Messina is through and he's into the lead of the race. Yeah, he does get the DRS, and Messina is through. And that was cheeky again from Messina, but it's a well-timed move down the inside line. I think, to be honest, Rocco saw it coming, didn't want to defend it too much. Spellnar now down the inside line of Watermelon. Lovely move that was on the brakes. Spellnar through and he's into P3. Really good action, of course, here in FRL. Messina out on top, the Rocco second, Spellnar in third. And I'll throw it out now while we've got a little bit of break. There's an announcement at the end from me.
Oh, as you say that, Macho gets past Jensen for P5, which is provisional P2.
Did he let him through?
Move from the Jamaican driver all the way from Kingston. He's travelled all the way to Abu Dhabi. Brilliant move from Macho.
Did he let him through, though? Because Jensen was on the back of Watermelon, unless he's made a mistake.
We don't say it like that, James. We just say the F2 champion overtook the F1 champion. As Racing Point might have had team orders themselves. I think that was got past Lou, unless that was... Maybe Lou got damage? I'm not really sure. No, he doesn't. So Lou maybe he's lost a bit of pace, but it's looking a really interesting race with virtually all the runners being on mediums. Got Amanda as well on the back of Ballboy, and he's actually going to try and go round the outsides of what corner is this?
Turn 16,
turn 15,
through the
which
triple
is
right-hander.
Turn 16, and Ballboy once again. He needs to learn. Oh no, it's shameful from Ballboy. He's honestly, I think...
His Macho on the back of Watermelon, somebody cut in, he's going to go on the outside line, round the outside he goes! Leaves him short of room, but he got the move done.
If Watermelon gets a good exit here, he could fight back, but oh my goodness, the traction on those old mediums is shambolical, as Jensen is also going to sweep through. Jensen's got no ERS compared to Macho. Jensen just derating on 6%. As Watermelon's trying to fight back, I think Watermelon's got not much to lose. No. But Jensen runs a bit deep now, so Watermelon once again, he's not really going to let go without a fight here. And he's using overtake again, so Watermelon really up for a bit of a fight here. Jensen actually going to come under pressure from Watermelon. Is he going to go inside or outside? He's going to go for the inside Watermelon. Is he going to die hot a little bit, dive it down? Nah, he backs out for the chicane of turn 12 and 13. Well, great action here at the front of the field.
Yeah, it could have been a freshly squeezed move there from Watermelon.
Oh, for God's sake.
Jensen's P4, Watermelon P5, and Jensen is through, and he's into P4. Welcome back, I should say, to FRL. Messina on top, Rocco in second, Macho in third. 5 seconds the gap between Messina and Macho. We can't look that over at all, because they're going to be going on a set of soft compounded tyre. Around lap 21-22 is the time they're going to be in, because the high tyre wear around here really does not work. Watermelon then is into the pit lane. He's going to get refreshed up on his tyres and everything. That didn't work seamlessly is what I would have hoped, but Watermelon's into the pit lane. On a set of hards he goes, so one stop is going to be for him.
Yeah, I'm thinking of my own puns if I'm being honest, but Rocco here is going to get overtaken, I'm pretty sure, unless Macho bins it in a wall somehow, but Jensen as well, he's just lurking in the background, so Rocco I think will get overtaken twice, but he's really not going to let that happen. He's using overtake, but Macho I'm pretty sure he's going to make the move. Something else happened, I'm not sure.
I've just seen Skulls comment in the comment section. Macho down the inside line though, he gets the move done. Into P2, shows the muscles. He's through and he's into P2.
Rocco's going to fight this. He didn't put up a fight for Messina, but he's really going to fight this. Round the outside of Macho. Macho can't do anything with no DRS. Is he going to dive down the inside?
Spellnell's out.
As there's a retirement.
On track.
And it's on the straight. Yeah.
Very strange. Both racing points side by side. Lou's ahead of Black Box. Standing towards turn 11. Gets the job done. He's up into 5th. Scar's coming, by the way. He don't squeeze a Watermelon. Jeez. Now a nipple on the other hand.
Oh, for God's sake.
Terrible.
They're awful there. But I think Rocco will be hoping for a safety car. And there is none. As talking of Watermelon, he is in 13th. And obviously he can't go onto another pair of mediums. As that would be illegal.
Macho nearly lost it on the curb coming out of turn 20. Very similar to what Zero, I think, did.
Annoyed, yeah.
And he's on the back of him.
He's not happy with that move, or just being behind Rocco, I don't think.
Ryan spun.
As Watermelon, he's rinsed that move brilliantly past Ryan. And he's made it. I don't know what's happened to Ryan here. I think he might have had a slight spin. Ryan's really underwhelmed in this race. If you ignore the pit stops, he's hardly even in the top 10 after qualifying. I think it was P6-ish.
Yeah, he was towards... Yeah, I'll have a look at the position changes, actually. That's the wrong thing. He has lost 6 positions. Yeah, he started 7th. 3 wide down the straight there. Rocco, Macho, and Jensen. Look at Jensen. He saved up the ERS. Looks to the outside on. Can he complete 2 for 1? Brilliant stuff by Jensen. The champion is through on the F2 champion. The F1 champion defeats the F2 champion. And Jensen into P2. All the way around the outside, gets the job done, but it's not over yet, because here comes Macho. Macho right on the back of Jensen, running down in towards turn number 11. Not quite close enough. Rocco got outdone, 2 positions he lost. Jensen through, Macho through their 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah, still unbelievable that the 2 racing points, the 2 AlphaTauris are still fighting for the 14th lap now in a row. Oh my god, the action doesn't stop here for Abu Dhabi. The overtaking has been pretty damn exquisite, but it does mean now Jensen can have his sights on Messina, as Messina's got a 6.3 second gap, so it's a similar scenario to the last race, which is Brazil, where Messina, I think it was Japan actually where he had the lead, Messina, and he pulled it and just maintained it, so Jensen will be hoping to close in on Messina somewhat, along with Macho.
David's right on the back of Lars Kramer down the inside line and towards 21, gets the move done, so David's through and he's into P9, and with one eye to the football, Ukraine have just taken the lead. Zinchenko with the goal, so at the minute England would be facing the Ukraine in the quarterfinals.
Who needs BBC Sport? You've got BBC Radio right here if you need it. But Macho at the moment just about staying in the DRS of Jensen, given Macho did take pole, if I'm not mistaken. I think his pace has been slightly poor in a race, but yeah, I think it's a battle for P2 for Macho here with Jensen, the obviously F1 champion, as you said, as Messina has completely checked out Valtteri Bottas, Hamilton, whatever style, he has left them for dead in the dust.
Yeah, he has, and he's shown his experience, I think, to good effect. Jensen and Macho do not have the pace to live up, and I think, to be honest, Messina got lucky because he's had 2 VSCs come his way. He's had to fight through the traffic, but he's thought through the traffic excellently, I think, and that is why we're seeing Jensen and Macho so far behind. Lou, I mean, is fighting with Rocco, and these are embroiled with Black Box and Silas in their own battles. He nearly ran into the back of Rocco, and then Black Box nearly ran into the back of his own teammate. So, Lou's on the back of Rocco though, P4 and P5, Rocco hoping to get the one stop, maybe transition onto a set of soft compound tyre is what I would imagine he'll go
Finally,
on, and he's into the pit lane.
Can he go soft for 11 laps?
It's possible if he can keep the tyre wear down.
Oh, that'll be very tough. I think he'll be hoping for a safety car, that's for sure. Unless he's going to do medium soft, but that would be a bit odd. Yeah,
Soft.
I mean 11 laps, that is going to be very difficult for him, as now I think the only one who's yet to pit in the top 10 is Flex, who I think did have a spin as he was right behind Silas when I last checked, and
Silas is in.
Looking on his dashboard, he's got a red spanner, which I think means he's bound to pit this lap.
The red spanner, I think, means that his teammate's in the pit lane, if I'm not mistaken, and that is why we see Flex in P6 and Silas P7. P12, I should say, but Silas was in front of Flex, you're right in saying that. So Silas came out behind Amanda, but crucially behind Ryan and Watermelon, so they've got ahead of Silas, and they were fighting out for a position further down the field. So Silas now down in P12. Macho has picked up a 3-second time penalty. Black Box though still on the back of Lou, running down in towards turn number 11. Silas, however, makes light work of Amanda. He is through and he's into P11.
Silas, yeah, he'll just be chasing down Ryan, who's got a penalty. Obviously, Silas himself.
Mads has shocked Ballboy down the inside line. Goodness me, I was wondering what he was doing. And Ballboy tries to switch, and now Pet is involved in this. Look at this, it's 3.
Petterman's going to get a double overtake here with the DRS. Mads has nothing. Mads is derating. He's going to sail past the Williams.
And Ballboy's through as well.
The Czech driver.
Ballboy's still on the outside line of Petter. They make a little bit of contact, but Petter's through and Ballboy's through. So Mads loses 2 positions for the price of 1. He should have just tried to send it down the inside line the first time of Asket, I think. But Petter is through and he's into 14 on a fresh set of mediums.
Yeah, David and Flex just both pit there. David's pitting pretty early with 9-lap-old tyres. So a bit surprised at that. And still the racing points still inseparable. I swear this could go right down to the last lap. But Lou does have a penalty, which does kind of spoil it. But Black Box is behind Lou at the moment. He will pick up the DRS, which will gain him about, I think, 5 miles per hour or 12 or 14 kilometers per hour. So Black Box just going to brake late, try and set up a nice exit for this second DRS straight, as it's slightly shorter than the other. And yeah, he hasn't got a brilliant exit, as Lou and Black Box have virtually the same ERS as each other.
Mads again trying to fight with Ballboy further down the field. P15 and 16 for now. Not on the points at the minute, Ballboy. But down the inside goes Mads. Trying to get the move done. Doesn't get the move done. Silas, however, does get the move done on Ryan. He is through and he's into P8 at the bottom of the straight. Lars now fighting out with Ballboy and Mads. Nearly 3 wide once again, and Lars is going to get 2 positions for the price of 1 on a fresh set of softs. He goes into P15. Mads still down the inside line, though, on a fresh set of mediums compared to Ballboy, who's still yet to pit. Mads is through and he's into P16. Ballboy, if you're listening, come into the pit lane. It's worth it. David's on the outside line of Petter.
He's not going to listen to you. He's actually going to fight Mads here. Round the outside. Can he do the same move he did last lap? He's going to try his best to stick it out on those hards, but Mads is not going to leave too much space. And Mads has had a half spin and has to concede and take the wooden spoon, which obviously his teammate as well in 18th. Williams at the bottom of the constructors. It's been a woeful season for Frank Williams' team.
Yeah, torrid season whatsoever. Macho's under pressure from Rocco, by the way. Gap is closing. Actually, no, the gap has gone out. Macho is ahead of Rocco. The gap has gone out. It was 2.4 seconds coming out the pit lane. It's 2.7. I wonder if Rocco's made a mistake somewhere out on track and we didn't see it.
Or Lars' fastest lap. I think Lars is now really going to flex
Silas!
with the clean front wing.
Oh, what a move that is!
Watermelon, he just absolutely got dumbfounded there in the first sector. But he is going to get the DRS. But he's just too far back as Silas on fresh mediums. He's going to be looking to catch up to Lou somewhat. As I think Lou Lou hasn't pitted and Black Box hasn't pitted and Lou has. So it does mean Lou is also going to be around, I don't know what I'm getting at here, but he's about 3 seconds ahead of Silas.
Pelly down the inside line of Amenda. These two F3 rivals, old F3 rivals and FRL are getting going, and Pelly is through on Amenda. But Amenda, crucially, is going to try and fight back with a bit of overtake mode. He's got the slipstream as well. Messina, by the way, is into the pit lane from the lead of the race, and we'll get to that in a minute. And Petter, yeah, right on the back of David. Down the inside line, tries to get the move done. Should get the move done. Spinning against the check. And there's contact and Amenda's spun.
I think David there was a little bit more ambitious. He had a very cool head at the start of the season, but he has got in a few incidents. But yeah, that's just a bit of a shame. I think it was a bit ambitious from him. Messina's pitted.
Is he ahead of Macho? This is going to be so close on the exit. It's going to be side by side. Messina, Macho's on the inside line, and Macho's ahead. Macho was ahead of Messina, but Messina's on a set of softs, and he's not going to take this one lightly.
Oh, no.
Macho leading the way. Undercut has worked for now, but Messina down into turn 8. I don't think his lead is going to last that long.
Yeah, Messina's got a lot more ERS than him. He's going to get the helpful of DRS slipstream. He's not using overtake though, so I think he's just falling Macho in a full sense of security, as Macho's got no ERS whatsoever.
Oh, he's on the inside line! Oh my God!
Down the inside, he's going to get once again a better exit, and he's nearly gets a little half spin, but now he uses the overtake, and now he's going to go to the outside. Macho's going to squeeze him as much as possible, but it is a lost cause.
Yeah, Macho had a penalty as well in all of this, so Messina leading the way, Macho in second. By the way, I haven't looked at the penalties. Macho's got 6 seconds, Rocco's got 3, Lou's got 3, so has Silas, Ryan, Amenda, Flex and David, Lars Kramer and Mads all on 6 seconds as well. Those are the penalties that have been picked up so far. Out on track, and probably a few more to come before the end of the race. With 3/4 the race distance done, Messina right on top. Yeah, Petter's run on the back of Amenda.
Oh, what a move! Oh,
lovely.
Petter set that up.
Oh, nice Kramer's through.
Yeah, Amenda just tried to stick his nose in, and now Flex is going to try and make a move, but he uses. Did he use first gear there for that corner?
I think he did. Yeah, I think he did because he. I think it was because Amenda and Lars were trying to fight for the position ahead of him, and he didn't want to try and get into a bit of a Constantino effect, and I think that's why we saw Flex back out of that, which is good. He's on a fresh set of softs. Amenda on 16 lap old mediums is going to have to come into the pit lane anyways before he gets to the end of the race. And speaking of which, he gets in now.
Tell you what, Flex loves a short shift. Every corner he's going 1 gear shorter than Macho, and probably about 2 gears shorter than Messina, the eSports Challenger. But yeah, first gear. I think that's maybe why he half spun when he was close to Silas, as now there's probably about a 15-second gap between them, as Watermelon is the only man on hards at the moment, and he's sitting nicely in 8th, and he'll definitely get to the end on these tyres. So keep an eye out for all the guys ahead of him I think have stopped, so I think he secured PA, it's safe to say, unless he spins and I jinx it.
You might jinx it. He might jinx it, to be honest, out on track. You never know what can happen. Here comes Lars on the back of Petter running down the straight. No overtake mode enabled for Lars down the inside line. Really giving him shorter room, banging wheels, and that, I'm afraid, is a push to pass. If I've got to be honest, that was a push to pass, and Lars is through, and he's into P10. Petter's not going to be happy with that at all, and I think that's down to the racecraft of the driver ahead of him.
Yeah, I think Petter did want to somewhat get more to the left, if that makes sense, as he does get a penalty, so I think he's maybe slightly lost his head. But yeah, Lars, I think maybe could have been a little bit close to the apex there, but you know, I guess you could call that in some respects hard racing, as they are at the end of the day fighting for the last point spot, so they probably are. As now I just realised, Lars is going to be on 3 lap old sauce, and he's got 9 lap newer tyres than compared to his teammate Ryan, so imagine that gap from 6 seconds is going to come right down to the last lap, if I can get my words out.
Got there in the end. Yeah, I think Lars, to be honest, his tyres are going to overwear towards the end of the race, and that is why I think we're going to see maybe Flex and David get involved as well, along with Petter and Lars. That's going to be quite an interesting battle to focus on. 2 racing points are nearly going to be side by side down in towards turn 8. Lou's still in front of Black Box, and Lou, I've got to say, he's really attributed himself well here tonight. The Dutchman in 5th position. Black Box, who was a race winner, of course, in P6, and actually he's going to get the move done here, I think. Down in towards turn 11, he's on the outside line. Lou will not come across to defend, and Black Box is through, and he's into P5. But watch out, because this is going to be the yo-yo effect, as I like to talk about. We're going to be seeing these positions switch and switch and switch towards the end of the race. Black Box doing his into P5. Lou, though, really attributing himself well, I think, here on his debut.
Definitely, and I think Otmar Safnauer will be jumping for joy, as Racing Point currently are sitting P4, as Renault are scoring only 3 points, and McLaren aren't in the points at all. Obviously, Racing Point getting 18 points at the moment. Lou does have a penalty, but the man behind him, Silas, does have a penalty as well, so it does seem as though, unless the Renault turn their engines up to full max fuel mix, I do think Racing Point might be taking 4th here.
I think Racing Point will be taking 4th. I'm going to have a look at the constructor standings coming into tonight. Racing Point will be behind Renault by 12 points. The gap, I believe, is 15 between them both as it stands. As it stands, without any penalties going to be added on. So, Racing Point will have 4th, I believe, by 3 points.
Jensen rounding outside of Macho. He's going to brake later, and the Alfa Romeo man has got up to P2. Macho is going to get the DRS, and he's got slightly more ERS than Jensen, but a poor exit means he isn't going to be able to stick with Jensen for very long, as he is on those mediums, which are obviously going to be probably around a second slower than Jensen's fresher and softer compounded tyre.
Yeah, that's certainly at this stage of the race, but Macho will probably have the quicker tyre maybe towards the end of the race, but we are running out of time. Beautiful sunset, I've got to say, here in Abu Dhabi. This is something that Cosmos has actually got right around this track. It's Messina out on top, Jensen second, Macho in third, Rocco in fourth, Black Box in fifth. Rocco, by the way, he went total one stop. He's P4 out on track from being well down the field early on and being well down the field in qualifying. He qualified what? 13th position? He's up 9 positions, only outdone by Lars Kramer, who's gained 10 from the back of the field. So Rocco really driving well out on track.
Yeah, brilliant recovery drive, but my question is, will he get a puncture right at the death here?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, yes would be the simple answer. 10 laps on those tyres is really going to be pushing it, as Black Box, I think, will overtake him pretty soon, and Lou as well. I think Silas will be the man that Rocco will be trying to beat. Obviously, the returning FRL driver, as I imagine he drove about 2 years ago, was the last race he did, probably.
Yeah, it was certainly around the same time I was here back at FRL when I last commentated him, I should add. But Black Box is on the back of Rocco, looks to the inside line, got to get the move done down and towards turn number 8. Lou's very late on the brakes, and he runs into the back of Rocco on the brakes, and Rocco now is going to try and fight back on the back of Black Box, and this battle is not settled and done just yet. Here comes Rocco to the outside line, Black Box on the inside line, and Rocco's going to be clean sailing through. Again, the yo-yo effect as I talk about, as Rocco defends to the inside line. Rocco is through and he's into P4, positions happening up and down the field. Lars is through on Ryan into P9, and David is through on Flex, and he's into P12.
I think Flex is going to fight this, but God, the gears he uses are so low, I don't think the traction is going to be anything good, but he is going to get quite close to David. This is for P12, we see both drivers having penalties. Flex, he has, like Ryan and a few other drivers, disappointed a little bit in a race, as we saw the likes of Rocco with really solid race pace phase in. And also Watermelon, he's still hanging on for P8 on those hards. I think he will get gobbled up by, that was a good pun, I didn't even intend to do it, by Lars there on a soft, so I'm very happy with that pun there, quite nice.
That was unintended, which makes it even worse. Terrible.
Yeah, let's move on swiftly, as I think Black Box is going to try and get DRS on Rocco, as he's still keeping P4 quite nicely. But Black Box doesn't have a penalty, and obviously he has fresh tyres, so I imagine Black Box won't want to, if I can't get my words out again, rush this too much, as his teammate as well has a penalty behind him and is on mediums.
Yeah, but Lou, looking at his ERS, he's got double the amount of ERS than both Blackbox and Rocco ahead. He's on 45% of ERS. Blackbox is on 18%. So that is actually triple the amount of what Blackbox and Rocco have actually got just ahead. And here comes Blackbox, speaking of which, on the back of Rocco. Looks to the inside line, dummies it to the inside line. I think Rocco might have seen that one coming. There's a yellow flag, and I think that might have been for Amanda. Oh, it was Pelly, sorry. Pelly just dropped a little bit of time, so it's Pelly, I think, who had a half spin coming through the hairpin. Blackbox, however, is through, and he's into P4, and now puts another Haas in between the Racing Point sandwich. And Lou now on the back of Rocco, but if he takes corners like that, he might not be getting to the end of the race.
I think he's far from a disqualification with about 3 laps to go. I think Blackbox there did I can't tell if it's a happy or annoyed weave at Rocco, or just telling him to nicely F off, because I think he battles a bit too much with Blackbox, as the two Brits aren't really working together, as Blackbox is running his own race for P4, and I think Rocco just needs to focus on not getting a puncture and try and get maybe double digit points if he can. But then again, he doesn't have a penalty and Blackbox does.
Blackbox
he
doesn't have a penalty. I think he was meant to say that the other way around. Rocco does have a penalty. Blackbox doesn't have a penalty.
Double whammy for me there.
Oh! And that's something rare we never see. Bullboy's picked up a penalty, down in 17th position.
And he's finally off those hards as well, so I don't think he'll be getting a puncture. But Lou is using overtake here. Is he going to go inside or outside of Rocco? He's going to go down the inside, send it on Rocco. But Rocco now is going to be clever and try and get the switch back on Lou twice. And he's got some good tractions on the soft. The softs are still going in strong there, as Lou is just going to start to derate. But he's actually going to gain on Blackbox here. So Lou might have a surprise attack on Blackbox.
No.
But he isn't going to try it, as both Racing Points go very wide at that corner. As Rocco is just going to be licking his lips. If they can do that a couple more times, he could slip through into P4.
We've definitely seen the transition from a set of mediums to a set of softs now, because Macho's on the back of Jensen, and Jensen's catching Messina. So this could be quite interesting towards the final 2 laps of the race. Messina still leads on to lap 27 we go. Jensen in second, Macho in third, but they are catching. They're not catching enough to catch him before the end of the race. But if Messina makes one mistake, like we saw in Brazil, final lap of the race against Jensen, we hope that is not going to happen for the second week in a row.
Yeah, Watermelon here, he's having a really healthy race, gaining loads of positions, but Lars Kramer, he's going to be licking his lips at the sight of overtaking Watermelon, and is he going to go for the move? No, he isn't, as that pun was intended, as they are fighting for P8, but Lars does have 6 seconds worth of time penalties. Yeah,
Lars is going to be hoping he can crane his way past Watermelon with this. These are getting worse, I apologise. Watermelon and P8, Lars Kramer and P9. David's going for the fastest lap of the race, by the way. He's into the pit lane, and Lou's through on Blackbox.
Yeah, Lulu living up to his name, Lewis Hamilton, making the move on Blackbox. But once again, I think now the mediums will start to phase in. Still, we haven't seen a full safety car just yet, and I think it's now too late, given we've got 2 laps remaining. But Macho is in the DRS of Jensen, so he's going to be looking to overtake Jensen, possibly in the last lap, and Jensen's going to have to go full send to get in the DRS of Messina.
Yeah, Macho's on the back of Jensen. Messina 1.5 seconds clear. As I say, one catch of the curb around here and you go maybe into the wall. So Messina is going to be hoping that Jensen does not have that last lap pace as what he's been showing all season long. And Messina onto the final lap of the race. It's 1.5 seconds coming across the line. Might not be 1.5 seconds towards the end of the race though. Who knows? Messina leads onto the final lap. Jensen in second, Macho third.
Round the outside of Watermelon, oh, he's going to have to leave the space. That corner is just, I mean, you're asking to collide there. It's very ballsy if you can make that move. But Watermelon's hanging on really nicely on 2 compounds harder tyres than Watermelon. Watermelon is getting close to a puncture, I imagine, on 9 lap old sauce. But Rocco as well, his tyres are surely going to be going off. However, I don't think he's dropped off Blackbox as much as everyone would have thought, and he does get a time penalty.
Oh, Pelly's got a 10-second time penalty as well. And that was through turn 8, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Macho right on the back of Jensen, though. Coming onto the back of Messina is looking in his rear mirrors and thinking, Jensen's coming, and he is. Jensen is beginning to come at Messina. Messina, fortunately, actually has Ballboy ahead of him. So the Mercedes might work together here. Of course, if he goes inside of a car, it can put you off. But Messina, this is not said and done whatsoever. Final sector of the final race of the season, and Jensen is 4/10 away from the back of Messina. Has Messina got enough in the locker to try and repel the rage of Jensen?
Macho here is just lingering in the background on his mediums. His tyres are going to be phasing in quite nicely. Macho's all over the Alfa Romeo. He needs a good exit here if he wants to take P2, although he does have a penalty. But Messina, the Finn, is going to take another win.
Round the final corner.
Showing, yeah.
Yeah, round the final corner he comes. Messina across the line. The fireworks fly, and Messina wins 3/10 of a second in the end. Jensen, if that was another lap, I think Jensen would have got him. So Jensen, second in the end. Macho, third because of the penalties. Lou is going to finish in fourth in his debut, but outdone by Black Box. Black Box is up into P4. Rocco, P6 from 13th on the grid. Good performance from him. Silas around the final corner to finish in 7th, and on his return, he drove very well. And for his first league race in 5 months, watch out for him maybe next season. Watermelon coming around the final corner in P8. And has got the pips outside of Lars. Oh, and there's a glitch because he's dropping now a lap down. And Watermelon, I feel, is going to be the man who's going to be on the top step of the podium when we come to the podium interviews. But goodness me. Ryan comes across the line in P11. Flex across the line in P12. David is around the final corner to finish in P13. And he will come across the line now to finish in P13. Sets new fastest lap of the race as well. Mads to come across the line to finish in P14. The Dane outscores behind past Amanda, Pelly and Boy. So Mads across the line in 14th. Amanda will come across the line to finish in 15th. Pelly will come across the line. A disappointing race from Pelly's perspective. He'll come across the line to finish in 16th position. And he comes round to the final corner now, comes across the line. He sets a new fastest lap of the race and steals it off David. And Ballboy round the final corner. Is he going to steal fastest lap? I don't think he is. Comes across the line. Ballboy finishes in P17, disappointing last, and gets the wooden spoon. And apparently he finishes in 15th, actually. So he might have finished 16th as a result of penalties. Driver of the day awarded by the in-game fans. A very scary looking Lars Kramer.
Not as scary on track, I'm sure, but I think he drove an impressive race. I think he was a bit cleaner than obviously his slightly dented track record previously in FRL. But yeah, nice from last to 9th challenge, I think, if you consider Watermelon came 8th without the glitch. But I'd probably give mine to Watermelon, to be honest, my driver for the day. Who would you give yours to?
Yeah, Watermelon, I've got to agree. Very good debut from him. And he gets my driver of the day vote as well. But I've got to say Messina drove the absolute socks off. And if that was another lap, Jensen, I think, would have got him. But Messina, who is apparently Cypriot now, Messina out on top. From Jensen in second, Macho in third. So actually the top 5 pretty much in a reversed order, really. Black Box in 4th, Lou in 5th, with Rocco in P6, Silas in P7, Petter, Lars and Ryan round off the top 10. Lars, of course, from 20th on the grid up to 9th. Good performance from him. Flex in 11th, David in 12th, Mads in 13th, Amanda 14th, Ballboy across the line in 15th. Pelly apparently got fastest up the race in 16th at 34.4, and he had more penalties than Ballboy. So Ballboy finishes P16, Pelly P17. Watermelon, I think, finished ahead of Lars, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around that area. So he finished around there. Speldenar, Zevo, and Jacko all DNF'd.
Yeah, I was going to say a quite nice fact there, but Ryan had to ruin it. Of the 5 new guys, it was going to be all of them score points, but Ryan there just missing out on P11 with that Watermelon glitch. But yeah, the new guy's really impressing. I think, as a comment said, Lou has a brilliant race fighting with the racing point. He can drive really cleanly, but also has the pace, so he's one to look out for next season.
Definitely one to look out for next season. And what we'll do now is transition over to the podium interviews, Jet.
Yes, and I'll be seeing you there.
I will see you there as well. But what a fantastic race, of course, here in Abu Dhabi. And that is the end of this season here in FRL. A fantastic season it has been. And what I am going to be hoping for is more clean and fair action, of course, for season number 13 in FRL. Unlucky for some. Hopefully it's going to be the best season out of everything. And we're just waiting to get into that party now to interview all of the guys that are going to be there. Pelly, by the way, he said because of the fastest lap, I'm ahead of Mads now in the standings by 1 point. So that is very interesting as well. Jensen has luckily started the party. Saves me finding it, which is great. So I'm going to join you there. And we will get into that party now. Everyone's pretty much there. I think it's going to be quite a busy night for the interviews here. Quite a few drivers have joined. As we now transition into the party, you see the blue screen. I'll get rid of that blue screen now. Somebody's going very fast as I join.
Salam alaikum, James.
Goodness me. Anyways, where shall we start? I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to get my PSN app up, and I'm going to see who's in the party. So I know who's going to get the interview first, and Flex, no, it's not you, before you come at me.
Yes. Shitting me.
Definitely not you. Not you first, anyways. Looking at the party that we've got in at the minute, I believe it is Jensen that we're going to be starting off with. P2 finish for you, Jensen. Very close to Messina at the end of the race. One lap extra. Do you think you would have got him?
Definitely would have been a shot. I know he would have put up a good fight there, but I did pick up my second warning of the race in that final sector in the last lap. So, I mean, I was happy with the pace overall there. Solid P2 to end the season is also good, but yeah, I don't know how I managed to catch up 4 seconds in those last 9 laps on the softs. I mean, of course, me and Macho lost out a lot in the medium stint, as we both got held up a lot, and we ended up out 7 seconds away, and then yeah, on the soft stint made up for it, and yeah, definitely.
It was a fantastic race in the end because you were catching Messina towards the end. I have a feeling Messina might have just backed off to make it a little bit more exciting on the final lap of the race, but I'm not going to draw any conclusions out of that. But from your perspective, this season has been an absolute whirlwind. You've obviously been crowned FRL F1 champion, I should say, for season 12. That must feel very, very good now that you've got to the end of a very, very long season.
Yeah, I've felt I'd never really become champion really in FRL. I thought it'd be mid-pack to near the front, maybe pick up a few wins here and there, but yeah, this season's been amazing and beyond expectations for myself, and end the season P2 on a track, it isn't my greatest track, Abu Dhabi, so I'm pretty happy with the result today and of course the season overall.
Yeah, do you feel the VSCs, the 2 VSCs that obviously got deployed, do you feel that ruined the race slightly in terms of the deployment? Because one of them was after everyone had came past the pit lane. I think it was on, what, lap 12, lap 13, somewhere around there?
I was hoping for a safety car, to be honest, when I saw the gap to Messina. Because I knew he had 2 warnings on him as well, so I knew I could have maybe had a challenge as well. Same with Macho, but I think Macho, when he went to the mediums, it was kind of after the start of the stint, it was pretty much from there on. I think he just stayed with me, but he had penalties as well. But if he didn't have penalties, I probably would have let him have a go on the final few laps, because I knew those mediums would be quicker then. But in the end, solid P2. Props to Messina as well, as a standout performance from him during the season. And yeah, just hoping for some more good fights next season, of course.
Yeah, of course, with one eye towards next season, how do you feel you're going to get on? Are you going to be the defending champion?
I mean, I'm also turning off ABS, because that's, I think, yeah, it's the only assist I used, and yeah, turning that off is going to be a big step on the new game, but hopefully I'll be able to learn it quite fast. Just take a lot of time to do so. I mean, I'm not of course expecting a championship fight next season, but probably aiming to be consistent the results across the season. Yeah, hopefully possibly pick up a few wins as well here and there. But yeah. That's
Yeah,
pretty much it.
I was going to say, it'd be fantastic to see, of course, how you get on next season, and if you can defend that all-important championship, and maybe do a ball boy. Maybe do a ball boy of having no competition in FRL for 3 seasons in a row and trying to wrap up the championship. But the less I say about that, the better. Thank you very much, Jensen. Macho, we'll move on to
cheers,
you,
guys.
and Bunty, this is yours.
Indeed it is. And Macho, you has obviously did secure the championship of F2 as Flex forgets to turn off his mic, but you have a 50% podium rate in F1. So since you have started reserving for F1, you've actually been right up there in most of the races. Do you think this race was probably among one of your best F1 races, or do you think you had a chance of possibly getting the win and maybe lost out?
I don't know. I'm happy with the race. I've enjoyed that one. I really enjoyed it. The penalties, that was very, very annoying though, because it was just a bit like a sweet bitter feeling at the end of the race, because we were catching and it was intense. But yeah, because of the penalties, I knew I wouldn't stand a chance to win, so I was just staying behind Jensen, pushing him to the absolute limit, so maybe he could catch Messina, but just one lap short.
Yeah, and as you said, you did just about miss out on Messina, but do you think that was probably because Messina did have a 6-second gap at the end of the last filing of pit stops? Do you think that could have maybe been prevented, as you obviously took pole with a 32.1 and did lead for most of the race, but Messina did overtake you just before the pit stops and managed to actually come up to his teammate and get some nice clear air after that. Do you think possibly you would have, looking back at it, fought a little bit harder with Messina to maintain that P1 spot just before the pit stops?
Well, I think I fought him really hard in the beginning, because I hadn't like really a lot of ERS, and he passed me, and then I had in my opinion, a really good pass around the outside of the second straight. But yeah, the qualifying pace is yeah, I don't know. My one lap pace is just way better than my race pace, so I'll need to work on that. But nah, definitely I couldn't win from him today. The penalties didn't help, of course, but yeah, his pace was just phenomenal, and I think he was just being cautious to the end because he had two warnings. So he was one away from a penalty, and Jensen didn't have any. So I think he was just being very cautious, and yeah, we were just fully sending it. So no, don't think I could have won it.
And in terms of moving on to next season, as you said, you've in F2 took 14 poles in the season of the 22 races, which is a pretty impressive record, and obviously took your first pole in FRL F1. However, in terms of wins, you took 8 wins in F2, and obviously yet to take one in FRL F1. Do you think that's something you're going to be really targeting on a new game, trying to get that race pace, the consistency there, and just the raw speed in terms of the race with high fuel, a little bit more on point compared to the other guys like Jensen and Messina?
Yeah, maybe I'm just gonna practice a lot more in the Grand Prix mode, doing some races, but well, I think if you just practice in time trial, you can have a very good race pace as well. But yeah, I will practice a lot more and give a good fight next season to all the guys. I don't know who's rapid, of course, on the next game, but we will see.
We certainly will, and it will be a brilliant race and season, I'm sure. So thank you obviously for racing in F2, and thanks for racing today and for slotting in for Abu Dhabi F1.
Thank you, and thanks for commentating.
No problem. As James, I think it's Lou who took P5, if I'm not mistaken.
It is Lou that is up next, and Lou, fantastic drive on your debut to finish P5. You must be feeling very good with the performance.
Yeah, it was a good race indeed. But first I want to thank you guys for the opportunity that I had. And yeah, it was a very good race. The start was very good indeed, and yeah, the rest of the race picked up 2 penalties, 3 seconds. That didn't help that much, but I think it's still a good race.
Yeah, you picked up a lot of penalties throughout that race, which I think is a common set around here in Abu Dhabi. Just talking about the VSCs, the 2 VSCs that got deployed, did that affect you in any way whatsoever?
No, I don't think so. I had pretty good getaways after the VSC. But I think if they were not there, it helped also, so it was actually no problem for me.
Yeah, and we saw you fighting quite a lot with Black Box, your own teammate in the Racing Point. That must have been quite an intense battle, which I think lasted throughout the entirety of the race.
Yeah, indeed, it was a very great battle with him, and I enjoyed it a lot. I mean, he's competitive, and I liked it.
Ah, you kept it clean as well, which is the most important thing between you both, and it was fantastic to commentate and fantastic to watch. With one eye towards next season as well, are you going to be here first and foremost? And then the second thing, what are your expectations going into next season?
Ooh, I actually don't know what to expect from next season, because the cars are really different. I mean, you can't use a lot of
It's
curbs
equal,
next season.
bitch.
You can't use a lot of curbs next game, so I think it will be interesting to race next season.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see, of course, how you get on next season. Thank you very much, Lou. We move on
It's
to
Leo.
Bunty.
Flex. Yeah, Flex, I think it is.
Thank
finished.
God.
No.
Just about in the points. Oh no, he didn't. Oh, sorry. I think you came P12 as Watermelon obviously had a glitch, but you qualified P12 where you finished in the end, so it wasn't too bad. And
I had the best start ever.
we'll skim over qualifying. You made up 5 positions by the first lap. I mean, did
You
you
want my
use
clip?
overtake the whole lap or just go full send?
End of the lap, I had 60% EOS. Yeah.
Okay, and you
Shut
obviously
up,
went
my
for
English
the...
is trash.
Yes, okay. we'll try and work on that. But you did do the medium soft strategy, which was pretty ambitious because your tyres on the mediums towards the end were dying off. Do you think if you possibly went for maybe the medium hard strategy or even did the 2-stop, like obviously Sidas, your teammate, did slightly different, and he finished somewhat above you, do you think possibly that would have been the optimal strategy looking back at it, or are you happy with the strategy you picked?
No, I thought it was a good strategy, but I think better medium hards next time.
And out of wonder, I think you were around Silas just in the first 10 laps, and then you did you spin? Because I think in the first stint, the gap between you and Silas did go up a bit, or was that maybe just your race pace or your tyres on the mediums just going off?
Oh, dat staat de kut van. I don't understand, sorry Bunty.
No, it's fine. I will say for next season, for F2, do you think you'll be possibly a title contender?
No. I
Okay,
think top 6, top 6 again.
Okay. Quiet confidence. Possibly, maybe taking the F2 title for a match, I guess. But anyway, thanks for racing as usual, and as always
Thanks
throughout the
for
whole season
commentating.
reserving. No problem. And best of luck next season in F2.
Yeah.
As
Now-
I think it's Pelly or Bullboy next.
I think it's Bullboy next, because he had less penalties than Pelly right at the end of the race. Bullboy, of course, finishing in P16, given Watermelon's AI glitch right at the end of the race. Bullboy, coming to you, your race was quite intense with that Mads and all sorts of battles. Talk us through your race.
Yeah, I suppose it was. I mean, I didn't have the pace at all to compete for points today, so that's why I went onto the hards and tried something different. And also, I had to gamble and try and get the fastest lap by putting the softs on at the end as well. But nothing worked, so yeah, it's a shame to end with no points, but you know, looking back at the season though, not just this race, but I think consistency was really key me not getting any penalties in most of the races to pick points, and I was hoping for a safety car today or like something to mix things up, but it never happened. So yeah, unfortunate way to end the season, but yeah, it was a fun race. I had quite a few battles. D-Last though, that was interesting, but even without the spin, I wouldn't have like got any better, I think. So yeah, an okay end to the season, I suppose.
Yeah, just talk us through that incident with Silas. Obviously, he left you short of room, I think, down in towards turn 18. Did you feel that he had the position done, getting that move around the outside of you, or do you feel that with you sticking the car in, you would have tried to get the move done if it was a bit cleaner?
I think the problem was the difference in grip between me and Silas was tremendous. So he could go round the outside into the hotel section, which you never really see a move being done there. So yeah, I think that's what probably caught us both out. But yeah, that lost me like 5 seconds, and the gap between 10th and myself or getting a point was so much. So yeah, it was just like a minor setback, I suppose.
Yeah, obviously quite disappointing in that regard, but hopefully Silas takes all the comments on board and hopefully he will improve as a driver, as I know he definitely will. Looking ahead, of course, to next season, how do you feel you're going to get on if you're placed again in F1?
Well, I don't know. At the moment, I think I'm set for F2, potentially. So, if that's the case, I'll be hoping to at least get into the top 10 for sure. And then, who knows, perhaps I can get my first podium in about 2 years, and who knows, if things go according to plan, then it could be a win for, since all those years ago in Mexico. But, yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm hoping to just score like on a regular basis, because yeah, although I did that this season, I think it was mainly due to luck, and there have been quite a few races where I haven't scored points even without any penalties or any incidents. So yeah, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic to see, of course, how you're going to get on in whatever division you, of course, are placed in. Thank you very much, Ballboy, and I believe we'll move on to Pelly, who was the last interviewee.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Pelly, you're
hello.
here.
Hello.
Good. I mean, obviously, it's not the way you'd want to end the season, but I think the way you've turned it around has really proved that you are in that kind of probably midfield of F1, which in the first half of the season with all the DNFs, you probably would take scoring 20 points in the last, I think it was, last about 5 races, getting 8th, 6th, and then obviously DNFing in Brazil, but managing to get fastest lap, which is another point. So, just to start off things, do you think you're quite happy with your progress throughout the start of the season?
Yeah. I'm okay. I'm all happy with. Yeah, I knew like when I jumped like after Spain I went to no traction, so I knew it will only be gonna be better with time. So yeah, and that's just what happened. I just got more comfortable with no traction, and that's what you could see about my pace and consistency.
Definitely. And I think throughout the whole season you have shown really rapid qualifying forms, especially the highlight, probably as you would say, is P2 in Hungary, where you took that. But generally your race pace has been probably slightly underwhelming, as people would probably hope you'd even get a podium this season. Do you think, depending obviously what tier you're in, just no matter what tier you're in, do you think you'll be looking to have a little bit better race pace, maybe more consistency, finishing races almost all the time next season?
Well, with the people that I saw joining, I don't think my race pace is gonna even it's gonna be better. I don't think it will be maybe top 5 the trainer positions. I will probably, maybe the best I can do is I can P8, but I will probably be around like P10, P12.
And obviously your race today wasn't ideal, making 3 pit stops, and it all didn't start great after qualifying quite nicely in P8. You did get a drive-through. Was that just purely lapse in concentration, or being too eager off the start?
I was too eager. I wanted to get a good start because I just want to make positions, and then I just jumped to start, and then and that fucked me because I think otherwise I would have been in the fight for like P8, P9, P10 around there. So but still happy, big points. It was that.
Well, I guess next season you'll be looking to get some points on a regular basis, but as I said before, thanks as usual for racing in F1, and best of luck for next season, and it's always been great to have you in FRL.
Thank you.
As James, you'll be, I think, making an announcement if you stick to your word from last week.
Well, I am never a man to go back on my word, and we have an exclusive announcement for FRL F1. I can't fathom myself to say this, but unfortunately you have me back next season. Which is brilliant. Unfortunate, I think, for everyone else that hates me in terms of a commentator. But if you love me as a commentator, I'm back next season to take you through Season 13 of FRL F1. And my co-commentator is sitting alongside me in the commentary box. And no, it is not ILR_Bunty. It's Mr. FRL_Ballboy57. The old team back together next season. FRL F1 cannot wait.
Possibly. Let's just make
it
that
might be
clear.
Bunty. It could be Bunty. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, it should be next season. The F1 grids, all grids look pretty stacked. I think F1 is probably going to be one of the most competitive grids ever in FRL, given just the quality of drives we'll have. But yeah, like today, I think that's going to set the tone for next season.
It is going to set the tone for next season indeed, and hopefully we get to see some really good action, of course, out on track, and you'll be doing it in the fine company of me, taking you through all of the streams for FRL F1, as hopefully your lead commentator, who knows, is going to be joining alongside me in the commentary box. But thank you to everyone who has tuned in, who has commented over the last 22 streams of FRL F1, and indeed for making me feel very welcome back as well in the last 4 weeks or so. And a big thank you, of course, to Bunty, who, of course, without him, literally messaging me off the cuff from League of Europe, he wouldn't get me back into FRL. So big thanks to Bunty, my co-commentator, and hopefully, as I say, we're going to see some really good action, of course, next season. FRL F1, I believe we're starting early next season as well. The pre-season race is at the end of July, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I think we're far from know anything just yet, but I'd imagine if the F1 game's the 16th, maybe a month into the game cycle. Once all the glitches, of course, have gone, etc.
Yeah, we will have to wait and see, and I'm sure we'll get a defined answer in terms of when the season starts. And of course, you can follow the league on Twitter at Fantari Racing League on Twitter for all of the latest news. You can keep up to date with the league, and I believe also we've got an Instagram account now, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Not just yet. We're not done just yet.
Not just yet. It's in the works. I'm letting too many exclusives out on this stream, honestly. I think it's best we end it here, don't you?
Before we say our Twitter password, yes, probably.
I don't know what the Twitter password is, so I'm not even going to speculate in terms of that. But thank you so much to everyone who has tuned in and for making me feel so welcome back. Thank you to everyone who, of course, drove this season in FRL F1. And, of course, myself and Bunty, and for everyone else, we'll see you next season for FRL. Of course, same time, same place. You know where we are by now. But for myself and Bunty, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, goodbye.
Hey.